"Sir, why does my mom wrap food she never eats?" The words didn't sound dramatic. They didn't explode. They simply slid into the air, soft, careful, as if the girl was afraid the sentence might break. Outside, Christmas was everywhere. Not the magical kind, the commercial kind. Lights hanging across streets, store windows full of decorations, music whispering from somewhere distant. But snow wasn't falling like in movies. Fell slowly, tiredly, like the city itself needed rest. Inside the restaurant, the day had already ended for most people. Dinner rush gone, laughter gone, the clatter of forks and plates gone. Only the aftermath remained. Tables wiped, chairs stacked upside down, floor smelling of lemon cleaner and dust. A single row of lights stayed on, buzzing faintly, too bright for comfort. And in that strip of tired light, a woman was still working. Her name was Alina. She didn't move like someone trying to impress a boss. She moved like someone who understood that if she slowed, tomorrow would become heavier. Hands cracked from soap, sleeves rolled up, hair tucked back loosely. She opened takeout boxes, not for customers, not for staff snacks, but carefully, almost tenderly. Rice in one, chicken split into thirds, vegetables measured like time itself. She wrote on lids, school, tomorrow, neighbor, after shift. The marker squeaked softly each time. She didn't nibble, didn't taste, didn't just take a little. Her movements were precise, deliberate, like ritual. At the back table, a girl sat quietly, 9 years old, hat still on, boots dangling off the chair. Her plate wasn't empty yet, but she ate slowly, like she had learned the math of hunger. Eat now, save some, pretend you're full. So mom relaxes. Every few seconds her eyes drifted to her mother, watching those boxes, pack, label, stack, no fork lifted to her own mouth. The restaurant door near the kitchen was cracked open, letting in faint street noise and cold air. A man sat nearby, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee that he had barely touched. Gray wool coat, minimalist watch, calm shoulders, as if nothing in the world was urgent. He didn't look rich. People who actually are rarely need to. He owned the building. He owned 3 restaurants in that block. He owned investments he barely remembered. Money protected him from weather, from time, from fear, but not from noticing. He watched Alina quietly, not suspicious, curious, because he had seen greed. He had seen dishonesty. He knew when people hid things. This wasn't hiding. This was sacrifice. The girl finally set down her fork. Her voice came small, carefully controlled, like she had practiced sounding brave. "Sir, why does my mom wrap food she never eats?" Alina froze, not like she'd been caught, more like someone had opened a window she had kept locked for a very long time. She smiled soft, tired. "Sweetheart, I ate earlier." The lie was polite, clean, gentle, designed not to hurt. The girl nodded, but her eyes stayed thoughtful. Children recognize hunger, not with logic, with memory. She leaned forward. "But you never sit with us. You only watch." Silence. That sentence hurt more than hunger ever could. The millionaire stood, not towering, not authoritative. He approached like someone stepping into cold water. "May I?" he said quietly. Alina nodded, hands still holding a lid midair. He gestured to the boxes. "For who?" She answered calmly, almost embarrassed by the simplicity of truth. "For days that get longer than money." She exhaled, slow, careful. "And for Mrs. Larkin upstairs. She's too proud to ask for help. But if I pretend I cooked too much, she takes it." The millionaire blinked. "No pity, just understanding. I grew up watching my mother do that," he said softly. "She always said she wasn't hungry. She always smiled when she said it." He paused. "I didn't realize until I was older that she wasn't full. She was choosing." The girl tilted her head. "Is that bad?" He crouched down to her level. "It isn't bad," he said. "It just shouldn't be necessary." Alina busied herself with tape, like movement could keep emotion from overflowing. Tea kettle clicked off. She poured herself a cup, steam rising gently, warming nothing important. She didn't sit, didn't rest. The millionaire watched the way she held the mug, like permission she hadn't earned. "Do you ever eat first?" he asked gently. Her eyes flickered. "Parents don't eat first. We calculate." There was no drama in her voice, just fact. "Sometimes I get dizzy at work," she added, more quietly. "So I drink tea. It tricks the stomach." The girl looked up sharply. "You didn't tell me that." Alina smiled softly. "Because you're a child. You don't need my math yet." Snow brushed the window. Wind hummed. The restaurant felt suddenly massive, like a cathedral, filled with ghosts of meals other people had finished. The millionaire thought about policies, budgets, numbers. He had always believed he was fair. Fair wages, break schedules, meal discounts. He almost laughed. People fed hundreds of strangers a night, yet went home planning leftovers like survival kits. He realized something unsettling. His businesses were profitable because people like Alina quietly disappeared into sacrifice. He looked at the girl. "What's your name?" "Anna." He nodded. "Anna, can I tell you something important?" She leaned forward. "Your mom is not someone who eats last. She is someone who protects first." Anna didn't smile, but something eased behind her eyes. They grabbed coats. Alina's zipper snagged again. She wiggled it loose, laughing at brokenness like always. "Bus in 7 minutes," she said. "Come on, soldier." Anna slipped her hand into her mother's. The millionaire opened the door. Cold spilled in, wrapping around them, like the city didn't want to let anyone feel safe for too long. They stepped into darkness, snow catching on their hats, boots crunching lightly. He stood there longer than necessary, watching silhouettes fade into the winter street. He felt something he hadn't felt in years, responsibility without pride. He returned inside slowly, stood in the empty dining room, listening to the hum of refrigerators and heat vents. On the table sat a single forgotten napkin. On it, in shaky handwriting, Anna had scribbled, "Thank you for listening." No signature, just gratitude, not for money, not for food, for being seen. He slid the note into his pocket. Then he sat, hands folded, staring at the quiet room, while realization landed fully. if the people who keep others warm go home cold, if the people who serve are the ones who starve, then the system isn't broken. It's just built wrong. And he built it. He didn't feel ashamed. He felt obligated. An obligation, for the first time in a long time, felt like purpose. Outside, snow thickened, covering streets, cars, footprints. Inside, the decision forming in his mind was simple. Not charity, not viral gestures, not speeches, real changes, quiet ones no one would clap for, ones that would let people like Alina sit down, eat, rest, without having to explain why. The lights dimmed, the key clicked in the lock. He stepped out, coat collar turned up, breath fogging the air. Christmas lights flickered overhead. Somewhere across the city, on a rattling bus heading home, a little girl leaned into her mother's shoulder, believing things were just the way life worked. But that night, for the first time, someone with the power to change things finally decided they shouldn't be. The next morning, snow hadn't melted. It had settled, hardened, become part of the city. Like truth, the restaurant opened at 11. Warm lights on, music low, coffee smell drifting. But before any customers arrived, the staff gathered. Not usual. They never gathered. No meetings unless something was wrong, unless numbers were low, unless someone had made a mistake. Alina tied her apron, as careful, body alert, like someone who had spent too long bracing for warnings. The manager, Philip, stood at the front, clipboard in hand. He cleared his throat. "New rule," he began. Silence spread. He wasn't harsh today, not softer, just different. The owner visited last night. A few eyes widened. Nobody ever saw the owner. They joked he was a shadow, a rumor, a thing that lived in bank accounts. Philip continued, "We're changing staff meal policy, effective today." He glanced at the paper again, as if double-checking. Everyone eats, before closing, sitting down, together. Murmurs. Someone laughed softly, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. He pointed to printed papers on the wall. Meal break guideline, timed rest, chairs, hot food, not leftovers scraped from plates. Actual meals. Alina blinked slowly, like her brain refused to accept simple things. Philip swallowed. This wasn't easy for him either. And no more clocking out during cleaning. You clean on the clock. You prep on the clock. You're tired, you sit. No permission needed. The dishwasher wiped his hands on a towel. "Ice suddenly glassy." He whispered, "Finally." No one clapped. No one cheered. Real tired people don't celebrate. They recalculate. Philip finished. "And if anyone gets scolded for sitting, you send them to me." He didn't say the other truth, because the owner would scold him. Not loudly, quietly, which somehow felt heavier. Alina tied her apron slower, not smiling, not crying, just letting the knife inside loosen slightly. She went to the kitchen. Spoons clinked, steam curled, oil hissed, but for the first time in months, she made herself a plate. Not small, not guilty. She sat, actually sat. The chair held her weight, like it had been waiting. She took one bite, hands trembling, Because the body remembers when it is allowed to exist. And somewhere deep inside, her daughter's memory began rewriting. Mom eats, Mom sits, Mom matters. Across town, the millionaire, whose name people rarely used out loud, sat at his desk. Contracts, emails, meetings, the usual storm. But he moved slower. He kept seeing the boxes, the lids, the writing. School, tomorrow, neighbor. He called accounting. How much would it cost, he asked, to guarantee hot meals for closing staff at all locations, every shift, forever? The accountant paused. Forever. Yes. More typing, more silence. It cuts into profit. He nodded. Good. He meant it. Because money that starves people isn't profit, it's extraction. He signed approvals without speeches, without public statements.
Quiet revolutions rarely trend.
At school, Anna sat by the window, watching snow carve thin lines against the glass. The teacher spoke about fractions. Half, quarter, divide. Anna already knew math, not written in textbooks. Today, for the first time, her backpack contained lunch that wasn't stretched thin, a sandwich thick enough, fruit, cookies someone had given by accident. She didn't feel rich. She felt steady. Lunchroom chatter buzzed around her. Kids traded snacks. She didn't trade. Not today. She ate slowly. I soft, thinking about last night, about the man who didn't laugh at her question. Closing time again. The restaurant felt different. Chairs still flipped. Floors still mopped. But there was a pause first. Plates lined the table. Food warm. Nobody rushed. Nobody hovered by sinks pretending not to exist. They sat in a circle. A cook, a dishwasher, a hostess, a manager, and Alina. Not a family, not friends. Something quieter.
Humans.
Anna colored in a notebook beside her mother. She kept glancing up, still surprised. Every time her mother lifted a fork, she whispered, "Does the food still taste better when you're tired?" Alina smiled gently.
No.
It just tastes sad. They shared the joke softly, like it belonged only to them. The millionaire didn't come that night. He didn't need to. Change doesn't always require witnesses. But he walked the long way home, passing other restaurants, other kitchens, wondering how many mothers, fathers, kids were living in invisible hunger at the edges of fluorescent light. That thought stayed with him. Not guilt, awareness. And awareness is persistent. Snow deepened, nights lengthened, Christmas crept closer. The city grew louder. Cars, bells, shopping bags, plastic holiday cheer. But inside the restaurant, things grew quieter. No more fainting cooks. No more pretending. No more, "I'm fine." One night, Anna waited near the window, drawing little snowflakes and houses. The millionaire walked in. No coat flash, no dramatic presence. Just him. He sat by the same table. Philip brought tea, nervous and respectful, as if the cup itself had become a thank you. The millionaire shook his head slightly. No special treatment, just normal. Alina approached, heart steady. "Thank you," she said, not gushy, not emotional. He shook his head. "I didn't give you anything. I returned something. That should have never been taken. They stood quietly. Snow pressed softly on the glass. She hesitated. "Can I ask you something?" He nodded. "Why do you care?" He considered the question. Not everything has a speech behind it. "My mother," he finally said, simply. She didn't ask more. He didn't offer details. Their silence felt warmer than conversation. Anna looked between them. This wasn't a fairy tale. No miracles, no rescues, just an adult who noticed, and another adult learning that being noticed didn't mean being small. Later, as they cleaned up together, the millionaire stood again by the door, watching them prepare to leave. Anna zipped her jacket. Alina tucked scarf around her neck. He thought of one more rule. Not policy, principle. He said quietly, "If you ever feel invisible here, tell me." She nodded, and for the first time, she believed it. They left, steps soft against the snow, no longer shrinking into night. He stayed a moment longer, listening to the echo of dishes settling, to the warmth of a place finally breathing right. Then he stepped into the cold, and the city didn't feel quite as indifferent. Not transformed, just beginning to thaw. "Sir, why does my mom eat after everyone else?" That question didn't disappear. It lived quietly, in rooms, in kitchens, in offices where policies were signed and ignored for years. Questions don't vanish. They echo. Winter thickened, snow piled on roofs, and softened sharp things, corners, shadows, the hard sound of heels on pavement. Inside the restaurant, habits were changing slowly, not dramatically, not instantly. Slow change is honest. The new staff meal rule stuck, not because it was printed on paper, but because someone important decided it mattered more than profit. And crews began noticing tiny details they used to ignore. Plates placed deliberately, chairs pulled out, like invitations instead of permissions. Someone poured water for the dishwasher before he even asked. Someone said, "Sit," and nobody laughed. That night, after a steady rush of families, loud laughter, and clumsy coats hanging off chairs, closing time came later than usual. Alina wiped her hands on her apron, but slowly. There wasn't that frantic edge anymore, like if she didn't move fast enough, the walls would collapse. Anna sat at the corner again, drawing small scenes. Mom sitting, hands around teacup, not shrinking, not apologizing. The drawing mattered more than she realized. It rewrote memory. Philip walked through the dining room, counting receipts, then stopped, sighed, and lowered the papers. He looked at the team. "All right," he said. "Eat." Felt strange every time, like crossing an invisible line, like breaking a rule that once lived in their bones. They sat. Steam rose from bowls. Bread cracked. Nobody spoke for a moment, because silence itself felt luxurious. Alina lifted her fork, took a bite, not rushed, not guilty, and she realized something simple. Hunger doesn't only live in the stomach. It lives in dignity, and today, something inside her was finally being fed. Anna's eyes softened. She leaned forward, whispered, "It tastes different now." Alina smiled. "Yeah," she said quietly. It tastes like it belongs to us. Across the room, the dishwasher closed his eyes, like prayer had found him first. The millionaire arrived later than usual, not with an entrance. He almost blended into the winter, coat dark, scarf understated, hair barely dusted with snow. He didn't interrupt. He stood by the door, watching something he had never truly seen before. Workers eating, as equals, not as shadows. Philip walked over, half nervous. "You're here." The millionaire nodded. "I'm here." He didn't comment. He didn't ask if sales were strong. He didn't check numbers. He simply watched them live. A small girl drew at the table. A mother laughed softly. Someone told a quiet story about missing the bus and not feeling tired anymore anyway. There were no speeches. He went and sat at his usual table. Alina approached with calm steps. "Tea?" she asked. He smiled slightly. "Only if you drink yours first." She blinked. "I already did." Her voice carried a confidence no policy could teach. They both noticed. She set the cup down. No trembling. He studied her, like someone studying architecture, not to criticize, but to admire how something stands, after being bent so many times. "Can I ask something?" he said. She nodded. "Do you still eat last at home?" She thought. For the first time, the answer arrived immediately. "No." He nodded. "Good. Not heroically. Just right." Anna slowly approached, hands clutching another drawing. This one new. She hesitated beside the chair. "May I sit?" The millionaire shifted, making real space, not symbolic space. "Of course." She placed the drawing on the table, face down first, like something fragile. He turned it gently. This time, she had drawn 3 plates, equal size, same food, same height chairs, same light over all of them. He stared. Sometimes change needs proof, and children document truth better than governments. He swallowed. "May I keep it?" She nodded. "But only," she said carefully, "if you promise. You don't forget what it looks like." He didn't answer quickly. He let the responsibility land. "I won't," he said, not like an oath, like a decision. They sat quietly, watching snow filter down through streetlight halos. Later that week, the city grew busier. Holidays pull people outward. Sales, noise, rushed dinners, gloved hands gripping too many bags. But poverty never sleeps. It only hides behind decorations. One afternoon, a delivery driver walked in, cheeks flushed with cold, hands shaking slightly. He didn't ask for anything. He leaned against the counter, breathing like he wasn't allowed to take up space anywhere else. Alina noticed. "Sit," she said. He shook his head. "I'm not a customer. That's not what I asked." She brought water, then soup, tiny piece of bread. Not dramatic, not charity, just respect wearing quiet clothes. Philip noticed from across the room. A few months earlier, he might have barked, "We're not a shelter." Now he watched, jaw tight, then looked away, because something inside him hurt, in a way that meant it was healing. The millionaire saw it happen. From his seat, he didn't feel proud. He felt responsible. He had once believed systems ran themselves, restaurants, staff, economy, justice, but nothing runs itself. Someone chooses. Too many people choose wrong. He realized how many invisible rules had lived inside everyone. Don't sit, don't ask, don't eat, don't slow down, don't matter. He thought of his mother again. Hands red from cleaning, back curved, eyes too tired to complain. He had grown up away from poverty, but not immune to memory. Memory is inheritance. A few nights later, a snowstorm rolled in, heavy, relentless. Customers thinned out. The city dimmed, like someone lowered the brightness on the world. Power flickered once, just once, enough to make everyone freeze. Anna pressed closer to her mother, eyes wide. The lights steadied. The kitchen resumed. But the storm howled against the glass, reminding everyone how thin safety actually is. Closing time came earlier. Roads dangerous. Staff gathered coats, wrapped scarves tight. The millionaire stood near the door, scanning the weather apps. On his phone, he didn't speak at first. Then, no one walks home tonight. Heads snapped up. We'll call cars, he continued, calmly. Company pays. Someone opened their mouth to object. He stopped them gently. Rest is not debt. It wasn't generosity. It was correction, and it spread. One staff member offered, "Take my seat. I live close." Someone else said, "I can share." Chaos became coordination. Within 20 minutes, everyone had a ride, planned, safe, simple, except Alina. Her building stood on a narrow street. Ride services usually avoided in storms. She pulled on her gloves quietly. Anna held her backpack, silent, already used to long winter walks. The millionaire caught the hesitation. "How far?" he asked. "Not far," she lied. He looked at her shoes, at Anna's thin jacket, at the hour. "No," he said softly. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't insist. He simply removed the burden from the table. "I'll drive." She shook her head. "I don't want favors." "This isn't a favor," he replied. "This is distance meeting responsibility." Philip came closer, unsure. "Is that okay?" "Yes," the millionaire said. Rules shift quietly like that, not with fireworks, but with language. They stepped into the night. Snow whipped sideways, biting cheeks, coating lashes. The car heater hummed, slowly thawing the frozen world inside the windshield. They drove through quiet streets, past dark windows, past lonely benches, past a city that hides a million quiet battles. Anna watched streetlights blur. Alina watched her hands. He watched the road. Sometimes silence heals more than speeches. When they reached the building, the millionaire didn't study the neighborhood, didn't evaluate, didn't pity. He simply turned off the engine. "Thank you," Alina said. Not small, not ashamed, just sincere. Anna leaned forward. "Sir, yes. Do rich people ever feel tired from always deciding?" He didn't expect that. He thought, "Yes," he answered honestly. "But I'm only tired when I forget people exist." She nodded thoughtfully, absorbing that truth. Like warmth, they went upstairs. He didn't follow. Lines matter. He watched the windows above light briefly. Shadows move, kettle turn on. He smiled faintly, then drove away, tires whispering through fresh snow. Days stretched into the slow part of winter. Bills still came. Work still hurt. Life didn't suddenly soften into luxury, but there was structure now. Meal breaks, fair shifts, time. Time is the real wealth. Anna began doing homework at the table, while her mother ate beside her. Not after, not secretly. Their evenings changed shape. Food first, then stories, then sleep. Sleep deeper. Not because beds improved, but because worry loosened its grip. At the restaurant, word spread quietly. This place treats people differently. Applicants arrived, not because pay skyrocketed, but because dignity did. A woman from another kitchen whispered, "Do they really make you sit?" "Yes." "And they don't yell?" "Not for breathing." She applied the next day. The millionaire never took credit. He didn't want it. He simply watched as culture shifted, like snow melting from roof edges. Slow, inevitable, driven by warmth rather than force. One evening, just before closing, a man in an expensive coat complained loudly, "My order is late. Everyone's useless here." Old reflexes rose, managers moving fast, staff shrinking, apologies pouring. Then something different happened. Philip straightened his back. He spoke clearly, not aggressive. "Sir, our staff is finishing their meal break. We'll help you immediately after." The man scoffed. "They're eating? Now?" "Yes," Philip replied. "They are human." The room quieted. No one clapped. No grand music swelled. The customer went silent, looked away, waited. Boundaries held, and nothing broke. Later, after last plates were washed, after chairs flipped, after goodbye waves, Alina stepped outside. The millionaire walked beside her, hands in pockets, breath visible. "Does it feel different?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes, but not like winning a lottery. More like..." Finally standing on the ground, they stopped at the corner. She turned. "I kept thinking life meant always being the last one at the table, like there wasn't enough room." He listened. "But now," she continued, "I'm learning it wasn't the table. It was the rules. Rules can lie." She smiled gently, like the first day of spring. "No one expects." "Thank you," she said again. He met her gaze. "Don't thank me. Just promise you won't teach your daughter to disappear." She looked down at Anna, then back. "I won't." Anna squeezed her mother's hand. Snowflakes landed softly on their mittens, melting slow. No fireworks, no miracle, no violin strings. Just something subtle, yet huge. Safety, shared. Weeks later, the drawing Anna had given him hung inside his office cabinet, where no guest could see it. Not trophy, reminder. Sometimes worlds change, not because someone shouted, but because a child quietly asked, "Sir, why does my mom eat after everyone else?" He closed his laptop one evening, looked at the drawing, then whispered to no one, "She doesn't anymore." Outside, winter carried on, cold, indifferent, honest. Inside, people sat, ate, rested, worked, laughed sometimes, cried less often. Nothing spectacular, everything essential, and somehow that was more powerful than gifts, more permanent than charity, more real than stories people tell. To sell holidays, life didn't become perfect. It became fairer, and for many, that was finally enough.